coming to you live from Northern California. It is a beautiful Tuesday, 19th of May, and great to be with you. I hope you enjoyed the presentation just now. I'm actually getting ready to go golfing with my pops, so we're going to go knock the ball around the golf course here. But I want to introduce real quick a superstar agent who is in Austin, Texas, and joined eXp, and she's just doing so well. Name is Allison Gaddy. Well, thank you for agreeing to be on today. I was talking to her about 5 minutes ago. Hey, I forgot to get an interview person. Can you be on? She's like, oh my God, let me grab a hat. I'll be there. I love it. Like, guys were like, whatever, sure. But of course, you look beautiful and amazing. So real quick, you've been in real estate for 15 years. You joined eXp a few years ago, and you're in Austin, Texas, and you've just relocating. I think you leave in a month or two for the Caribbean. You're going to spend half your days in the Caribbean, half a year, and half a year right here back in Austin. Is that right?
That is right, and that's what we get to do with eXp. It's really exciting. So we're moving to Puerto Rico the first week of June, and we'll be back here. This is our home, and we'll just have two of them. So
I love it. I love it. By the way, beautiful picture behind you there. Kind of looks like the Caribbean. So you are ready.
I'm ready. That is for sure. For sure.
So tell us a little bit about real estate. I mean, who were you with prior to eXp? What brokerages?
So I was with Keller Williams. I was with the Southwest Market Center. I was runner-up rookie of the year. I say runner-up. And when I had jumped back into real estate 10 years ago in Austin. And I had absolutely no reason to leave, but I'm an educator, an innovator. I like to listen to new ideas. I think I took the call from my sponsor because I thought what she was saying was preposterous, and that was 5 years ago, and it's not even, it's the best move I ever made. I took a risk at that time. It's not a risk anymore, but.
Wow. Now you look like you're about 29, so I'm assuming you got licensed at 2014. Because you've been doing this 15 years. You got, I don't know what you got going, but you get the fountain of youth going for you. You do not look like somebody's been in real estate for
I'm over 40.
You almost qualify for me to call you an old dog, because 15, 20 years starts getting into old dog. I'm 24 years in myself, and I look like an old dog. But so why eXp? So you're at Keller. Were you happy at Keller Williams?
I was happy. If someone asked me if I was going to leave, I had mentors, coaches. I mean, I had champions in that market center like nobody's business. And one thing I knew is that it's my business, and my business didn't change when I moved to eXp. And I really thought there was something special. And what I knew is I could go back. I mean, that's really what I was thinking. It was like, I think you said the same thing. Like, I'll take a chance and I'll go back. But yeah, I was not looking.
Let me ask you a question. There's a lot of guests on today. Everyone's worried, oh my gosh, are my sales going to drop? Am I going to be distracted? So I went from RE/MAX to Keller Williams. So I was at RE/MAX for 12 years and Keller Williams for 8 years. And then I went to eXp. My sales did not drop. Honestly, did your sales drop, or did you were helping buyers buy and sellers sell at Keller? You switched to eXp. Did your volume drop? Did you stay the same?
Not at all. I stayed the same, and then I was able to grow. I was able to grow nationally. I mean, we're in 26 states, and that's through revenue sharing. But here locally, I can tell you, I mean, I was agent 641. We had 600 agents. A lot of people worry about brand. I mean, we're a huge brand now, but if you're coming from a huge franchise like RE/MAX or KW or Coldwell Banker, right?
We were nothing.
I moved a $3 million listing, and they didn't bat an eye. And let me tell you, I was shaking in my boots about potentially losing them. And they said, okay, great. Is it good for us? And I said, yes. And so I moved listings, everything, and grew my business just as I was.
Me too. You want to hear something cool? My 8th month at eXp, I smashed all my records, personal selling records that I'd set at RE/MAX and Keller Williams. So nobody cares whether it's KW, eXp, RE/MAX, CB for Coldwell Banker. They're just all acronyms in the end. IBM, NEC, HP, they're all acronyms. So they believe in us. So were you disgruntled with Keller Williams? Why did you leave? What was it that you saw the model? What was it?
Not in the least. I mean, I wasn't looking for an opportunity. I wasn't even thinking about an opportunity. And A dear friend of mine called and asked me to take a look at something. She said stock, and I said, that's whatever. Stock options, anybody gives you stock options, they're not worth anything. And then she sold me on the fact we were actually over the counter trading 52 cents at the time. And I thought that was interesting. But I've always been an entrepreneur, and I know that times are changing. You have to be innovative. And I felt like it was something different. And the phone calls I made were so hard. I mean, I had to have faith in myself and make that move, especially then. But I was beyond not disgruntled, not looking, and I don't think that the people that join our team here at eXp, most of the agents aren't looking to move their business, right? Because it's hard. It's hard to make a change. But if you're forward thinking and you really understand the value this company offers, then that's really where you realize that, all right, let's make a shift, and it's not going to affect me, but it's really worth it. And that's really why I made the move. I mean, the stock, the revenue share, the ability to grow together, the culture of this company is mind blowing. I always tell people, we can tell you how connected and how much this company lifts agents up. And I remember back in the day hoping it was true, and it still blows me away every day how much this company is made of agents helping other agents.
Well, it's like seeing a Broadway show or going to Las Vegas and seeing a big Circus du Soleil or Blue Man Group, and you're like, it was great, and this, that, really, you can't do it justice. You have to be there to experience the culture and collaboration, because there's financial alignment, which has never happened in 100 years.
Yep.
Agents connected to agents for mutual financial benefit. There's financial alignment. You said something interesting. How big was Southwest Austin? How big was that office?
Gosh, I think it was 1,200 agents at the time.
1,200 agents. So everybody watch this point. How many of those 1,200 agents have expansion teams in 28 states?
Oh my gosh, not very many.
How about not one?
Not one.
Is there one? Is there one? 28
I was thinking Tim Heil maybe, but no, he's actually not even done that. So no.
How many states do you think Tim Heil's in? He's a huge name for those of you that don't know Keller Williams. He's like a pillar. He's a big deal at Keller Williams.
I don't think he's in other states.
I
think he's in Texas. I don't think he's in other states, actually.
There you go. So that was my point. When you said, oh yeah, just a handful of us, like, I don't think so. I think you're the only one. And I love your point. You said, I could always go back to Keller if it didn't work. Were you buying an eXp franchise for $100,000 or $200,000? Nope. Were you signing, because you buy the franchise, now you get the building and put Century 21, Berkshire Hathaway, Keller Williams on that building, and then that requires signing a lease for the building, right? And so, commercial leases typically are 5, 7, 10 years. And they, small commercial leases, 10, 15, 20 grand a month. I have many friends who run bigger offices, not even close to what yours was. And the leases were 40 and 50 and 60,000 a month for 10 years.
Yep. Brent, you mentioned you can buy, you said one time, you can't buy your way into eXp, but you can build your way into eXp. You can do that through stock ownership, through becoming an icon and earning your stock back in the form of, your cap back in the form of stock every single year. You can do that through expanding with revenue share. You become a bigger owner in this company through 2 different ways, right, to earn income. And that's really amazing, because those of us that, really have poured into doing that, it's an opportunity that most agents, unless you raise money to buy a region, to buy a market center, and you have that in your path, you're not going to get this kind of ownership and opportunity somewhere else.
That's awesome. So you spent 10 years at Keller Williams or companies like them, and you were helping buyers buy and sellers sell.
Yep.
A few years ago, you make a shift to eXp. You keep helping buyers buy and sellers sell, but now you're acquiring stock and revenue share.
Yep.
And how much stock do you think you've acquired over the past 5 years? If you had to add it all up, all together, I cashed in a few 100,000, little sliver of mine, and put it in the backyard. Pool, waterfalls, palm trees. I mean, backyard, gourmet kitchen, outdoor kitchen. I mean, the thing's awesome. Spa. I mean, you go in my backyard and be like, oh, this is cool. It's a true backyard resort. How about you? Do you know, how much if you had to add it up?
I don't. It's definitely a couple $100,000. And the key point to that too is it's being purchased. I use 5% of my commission to purchase stock at a 10% discount. So that's already valuable. And then for me, in the last 5 years, I've been purchasing stock through transactions from 52 cents over the counter to wherever we are right now, $9. Like, and the people talk about the stock going up and down. It's gone like this, right?
Yeah.
And that's just for
I mean,
doing
you
the
watch
business
it
that I've always
weekly.
done.
It can do that, right? Weekly.
Mhm.
And don't watch stock weekly. Apple goes up and down sometimes $200 a day in
Yeah.
value, right? I mean, it can be huge swings. Don't do that.
But I have that just from doing what I was doing at KW.
Yeah, that's amazing. And all those years at KW, did you ever acquire hundreds of thousands of dollars worth of stock?
Nope.
20 years at my big prior brands, Remax and Keller, zero. So I'll take my, I don't know, I'm like probably over 700,000 today, just in 3.5 years. So, I mean, it's pretty cool what you could do. By the way, 52 cents a share, it's grown 18 times in values.
Right. In 5 years.
And we're about to open in 40 countries in the next 10 years. So, man, if you don't have some of that eXp stock, you may want to get yourself some. I'm like done. I'm not putting any more backyard. I'm like, I'm holding it now. So I just want to say this is tangible. People see the stock isn't worth anything. Come over to my house and hang out in my backyard resort, because this was bought with eXp stock, baby. And so I want to show them something tangible. We do host parties and do some fun stuff. Well, we're going to wrap this up today. Let me ask you a question. So here you are with over 500 agents and broker associates. And what's your overhead? Like $85 a month, right?
Right. Exactly.
No commercial lease, none of all that. So I want to get you to think 1 year from now, wrap up with this thought. Just in 1 year, May 2021, how many agents do you hope to have in your organization at eXp, your RevShare organization, 1 year from now? Take those 500 and turn them. They help tell grow.
Well, we're growing at about 10% a month, and that's with us just taking care of the group and doing our meetings and running it really like a region, right? With people.
You're adding 50 plus agents a month.
12. I don't know, well over 1,000 probably. We'll probably triple between 12 and 1,500.
So did you ever think when you joined eXp, you left an office of 1,200, which is one of the biggest offices Keller Williams has, if not the largest, that you would have more than they had just 5 years later from scratch? But keep in mind, how long has that office been there? Let's talk about that.
Oh my gosh, it was Gary Keller's first office. That's
so it's been there for So it's been there for over 30 years.
Yep.
And in we'll say 6 years, because you got one more year, you have the potential in 1 more year, in 6 years, to have a larger office with no overhead. I mean, think about this.
And it grows for me. I mean, it just takes off. I mean, it grows. I mean, it does.
There's 25 million agents out there, you guys, 208 countries. The world's bigger than you think. And eXp is going to have 1 million agents worldwide. You watch. 400,000 in the US and Canada. There's 370,000 coming. They might as well come in your organization. So we're agents telling our colleagues and friends about this great company that has healthcare. We now have healthcare, stock, leads, training, revenue share, all that stuff. And worst case scenario, you go back to your old brand. That was my thought. I will go back to Keller Williams in 6 months if I am not loving this. In 6 months, I am so going back. It's either going to work or not work, and I'll know in the next 6 months. I'm going to go for it. 6 months later, I'm like, oh my gosh, I am never going back. A year later, I think my rev share was like $55,000 a month. Any profit share people out there? I don't think that's within 13 months I was making 50, never made less. And then I think 4 months later, 4 or 5 months later, 4 months later, it was over 100,000 a month, 1.2 million a year. I'm like, are you kidding me? This story does not exist at other companies. It exists here. There are many, many other people like me and many people who are only make 20, 30, 40,000 a month, those poor people. But just kidding. But what a great way to notch down your mortgage, to chunk down your mortgage, to have an exit strategy to pay off all your car payments. Chris Okamura, do you know Chris?
Of course.
His rev share check last month paid all his bills through the summer. Every bill he has, everything. Just
Yep.
one monthly rev share check. He doesn't have to do real estate anymore, and he doesn't. And so we're changing lives. Allison, thank you for being on today.
Thank
What
you.
final statement you could make to anybody watching this who's doing to do a deeper dive about eXp, to really check it out? What advice do you have for them before they make a final decision, yes or no, on eXp? What would you say to them?
I would say number one, I mean the rev share, the stock, it's real. It's totally real. And I can tell you during this crazy pandemic, I mean the most amazing thing is to know that we've got revenue share coming in every single month, number one, regardless of what transactions do. And you really owe it to yourself to take a look, to understand the model, which you did. I mean, you've been on this presentation, so you've already done that. And just talk to whoever invited you, and take a leap. Have the faith, because it is absolutely real. It's awesome.
Absolutely. So on that note, tomorrow, same time, same place. If you're Eastern, 3:30 Eastern. If you're Pacific, 12:30 Pacific. And I'm out here in Northern California, Sacramento area. We're doing a lunch and learn tomorrow. Same Zoom link you have. Invite a friend to see what you just saw. Or I do it Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. Same thing Thursday. Same Zoom link. Watch it. If you want to show this to your spouse tonight, or your significant other, your sweetie, or your best friend in real estate, you can watch it. You don't have to wait till tomorrow at 12:30 Pacific. You can go to right here, themodelexplain.com, and I'll move my head. Themodelexplain.com, and watch it 24/7. It's exactly what you just saw, verbatim. And just cut down, edited. My voice is sped up a little bit, so it doesn't have to take an hour. I think it's like 34 minutes start to finish. And so that's the next 3 days. And then we'll end with this. This Saturday, we're so excited. We have the president of international growth, Michael Valdez. And I'll be honest, we headhunted him from Realty. We flat stole it. We offered him lots of money, stock, lots of things, and we stole him. He was a Realty's head of international expansion, which is 300,000 brands that add up to over 300,000 agents worldwide. We headhunted him and stole him, and he's now at eXp. The guy is so sharp. And so we're going to interview him this Saturday morning at 9 a.m. Pacific. This is so cool. Not one person's gotten off. Can't believe you guys are all, every single person is still here. I'm very excited about that. So it's from 9 to 10 a.m., and we're going to interview Michael Valdez on what the plans are to grow eXp around the world. We were going to maybe open 3 countries this fall. He's looking at 8 countries by the fourth quarter. Why not? We don't have to go buy buildings and lease commercial spaces and do tenant improvements for $50, $100, $200,000. We just go to stars in those countries and start. And so we're looking at 8 countries by the end of the year. And so we're going to interview him. It's on builtforthis.live. Builtforthis.live. Live. Don't miss it. 9 a.m. Pacific, 12 Eastern, this Saturday. You do not want to miss that. There are 208 countries, 25 million agents worldwide. Make no mistake, we're the only company in the history of real estate that has made their agent owners. We own this with Glenn Sanford. And then we give them stock, revenue share, training, and leads. That's the holy grail. It's the complete package, which is why we've grown like crazy. So keep checking out eXp. Take Allison's advice. We love you all. Allison, you're amazing. I'm honored to have you on the show today. Thank you.
Me too.
And we'll see everyone else tomorrow. Bye, everybody.
Bye, everybody.